What's up, YouTube? My name is Greg L. Thomas. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Today I have an interesting topic. I want to talk to you about something that you might find comical, but once I get into it, you'll understand the significance of what I'm about to say. Today I want to talk to you about the notebook. See, it's just a plain looking notebook, 8 by 5 inches. It's 8 by 10 inches. It's just a notebook, right? Wrong. Well, this notebook is a powerful tool. This notebook is the thing. I fill up probably 2 of these notebooks every week. All right. So when I was incarcerated, the notebook is what I use to track all of my notes, all of my thoughts, all of my God thoughts. See, when I talk about infinite intelligence a lot, especially in my book, Extraordinary You. So, an infinite intelligence is God downloading thoughts into your mind during meditation. Now, these are thoughts that you couldn't think in your limited mental capacity, that it requires meditation. It requires tapping into what I call infinite intelligence, and some people call the Holy Ghost, which, it's not just speaking in tongues, but it's a thought beyond your thoughts. It's a God thought. And so long story short is that when I have those spiritual downloads or those God downloads, I keep a notebook right by my bed. I keep a notebook at all times so I can jot it down, because you have to record those God thoughts. Recording those God thoughts are very important. The whole world was built with God thoughts. These big buildings that you see out here, they started from a thought. Yes, they started from a thought. Somebody wrote it down and it built from there. Everything starts from a thought. But this little notebook right here, just think of all the rap songs that you hear. You always hear these guys, not Jay-Z, because Jay-Z says he doesn't write anything down. But most of these rappers, they talk about notebooks. They talk about they had their notebook and they wrote it down in their notebook, which translated into millions of dollars and worldwide fame and notoriety, years later. But even the big buildings, the architectures, that's what they jot. The notebook. Everything starts with a notebook. So again, let me just go back to when I was incarcerated. Man, I filled up hundreds. I have boxes, big boxes, like the banker's boxes, filled with these notebooks that I sent home with my notes about business, all kinds of things. And people sometimes don't let people shoot your dreams down, man, because God gave the thought to you. He didn't give it to everybody else. So people might not understand what your dreams are when you try to share them with people. You think you doing a noble thing when you sharing your ideas and your thoughts with people that you love, maybe your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your wife, your husband, your best friend. And they shoot it down because they don't understand it. Let's just go back to Elon Musk for a moment. When he was talking about sending rockets to space, you had scientists, aero scientists, engineers shooting his ideas down, telling him that he was crazy, right? But he continued and he persisted and persevered, and now he's changed the world, and you can change the world too. And it all starts with just a thought and writing it down. So you have to write it down, though. See, because we all experience these God thoughts every day. Every day we have these $1 million downloads. We have these downloads. And when I say $1 million, it's not all about money. It's about changing the world, a lot of times. It's not. See, these guys that are billionaires like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, they didn't they weren't thinking about money. They were thinking about changing the world. It just money is just a byproduct of changing the world. So I want you to keep that in mind and keep that in perspective that your focus should be changing the world. And when you change the world or you serve people, becoming a servant or serving someone and helping people to do things better, or like let's just I'm just being random here, but like somebody like T.D. Jakes, right? Like a preacher, he's just serving the people. That's his primary focus is serving the people, but just a byproduct of that is him becoming rich. But his focal point wasn't becoming rich. That was just a byproduct of it. And so if you really want to become extremely rich, then your focus should be providing a service or serving people in some capacity. You know, whether it be how to do things better, you find a problem and you become a solution to the problem. And that equates into money a lot of times. But again, all of this starts with all of these thoughts, these random thoughts, and these thoughts they happen at the craziest times, right? These thoughts just download into your mind at random moments, and a lot of times we ignore them. Like we say, okay, wow, that was a good idea, and you don't write it down, and then you just forget about it. And so later on, a couple of days later, you talking to somebody, you say, dang man, I had a really good idea, but I can't remember what it was. Keep your notebook. Now, I know the technology is advanced now, and some of y'all probably laughing at me talking about the notebook because, they have voice recorders, they have, uh, notepads on the phone. But I'm going to tell you, there's a power in actually writing it down. There's something about retaining the information when you write it down in the notebook. And these notebooks, they're easily accessible, and you can go back to the notebook and you can just go through it and you can just recap on your notes. And now I use, the voice recorder, and I use the notepad on my phone sometimes. But nevertheless, it never fails that this notebook is the most effective because I'm not always listening to the audio on my phone or going to the notepad. So what I often do a lot of times is I transfer the information from those sources to the notebook because the notebook is just easily accessible for me, and it's just something about the information in the notebook that becomes embedded in my mind and in my nervous system when I write it down. It's just something about the process of writing it down that helps you retain the information better. And so I encourage everybody, man, this is just a school subject notebook. But like I said, I have hundreds of these notebooks filled up with information, and it's just a lot easier for me to retain information by writing it down in these notebooks. And just remember though that this is where it all started from. A lot of these big skyscrapers and these billion-dollar businesses that you see all started from somebody, man, just downloading their God thoughts. Their God thoughts. And see, let me just break down this God thought thing for you just real quick. See, God thoughts are downloads. See, you're limited in your intellectual capacity, okay? Because you're just a human being. But God thoughts are thoughts from God, man. I mean, they go beyond your limited intellectual capacity. And we all receive these downloads, especially in moments of intense meditation or where you ridding yourself, or basically you surrendering in these moments to where you're not relying upon your own thinking or your own understanding. And that's the only way these God thoughts just happen sometimes sporadically. And you get these thoughts, and man, I'm talking about, man, you have to have something nearby to write them down because you don't really appreciate the importance of these thoughts because you just think that they're just thoughts and you're going to remember. These are God thoughts. These are God thoughts that you're experiencing. And I just want to encourage you guys, man, to just get you a notebook. Get a pack of these. These are cheap. I think I get about 5 of these for $1 or something like that. But oh man, there's power in the notebook. Now I know you hear the name notebook a lot, associated with computers and laptops, but I'm talking about this is the original notebook right here. This is the original notebook. I'm not talking about the Chrome notebook and the computer notebooks and the laptop notebooks and the iPad notebooks. I'm talking about the real notebook. This is where the real power is. These people are dumbing us down with the computer notebooks because, technology has a lot of capacity, but you don't retain information as much, with the technology. You retain the information with the real notebook. All right. So anyway, I've talked long enough. I know y'all probably think I'm crazy, but listen, this is serious business. I know that it's serious business because this is my life, right? So I experience these God thoughts all the time, these God downloads, and I realize the value in it. See, the sooner you realize the value of God thoughts, the sooner your life will be on a path and trajectory to greatness because you'll minimize your learning curve. All right. Technology is good, but writing it down, it's just something about writing it down in a notebook that helps you retain the information. All right. And so I want you guys to start recording your God thoughts. Record those God thoughts. You have to keep these record. Just think these books that I have, right? So these books, I don't make, a lot of money from writing books, but what these books do is they help me live eternally. My thoughts are recorded forever. These are my thoughts in these books. These are my thoughts in these books that started from a God thought to the notebook to the written book. So I took fragments of information and I just pieced it together and put together a lot. I formulated real thoughts. All right. So just keep that in mind. Get you a notebook, get you some notebooks, and start recording your thoughts. All right. Really appreciate your time, guys. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. All right. And I'll talk to you soon.